think back to school, and I love to use these examples, like the rules of the playground carry over to the octagon. We saw this in politics in 2016, right? Like if you could turn a class on somebody to tease and ruin that person's day for whatever you were angry with them is, those same rules will work on the national stage and get you as far as the White House. There was a book. It's called Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. And if you read the book, that was a little bit more title catchy. The author's main statement was reading, writing, and arithmetic. Basic reading, basic writing, and basic arithmetic is all that you're ever going to use, which you really get a little closer to that 4th and 5th grade time. But the book was called Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. He was just trying to make a point. And it had to do with division, algebra, trigonometry, calculus, all things that most people will go through their entire life and never need to know. The most extensive math that you will largely do is to go into a grocery store with $100 in your pocket, look at what things cost, round up, keep track, so when you get to checkout, you're not embarrassed because you come up shortchanged. In all fairness, and this was the argument of the book. But I bring that all to you because when you do look back in your childhood, you look in your youth, right? As adults, we don't tease people. We don't go around and make fun of people. We don't try to get a whole room mad at this person because of some rumor that we started, which may or may not be true. We don't do that, but we did when we were younger. And whether you did it directly, maybe you weren't the person that started the rumor and tried to get everybody turned. Maybe you were one of the person who believed the rumor and did the turning. But you were on one side of that somewhere, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because it turns out poor Francis Ngannou had that happen to him. And I've heard the tough luck story by Francis a number of times, but Francis did an interview today, and he just said that nobody ever believed he could be a great fighter. And it's hard to talk about. It's hard to talk about. Because he's only 6'6", and he's only 300 pounds of absolute solid muscle without ever working out. That's what God handed him. He's taller and more strong than every human alive. But nobody ever believed in the poor guy. They didn't think that he could fight. And if I gotta tell you, gag me with a Smurf, how many times I gotta hear Francis talk about tough luck Francis and how he did this on his own because he believed in himself. I never heard from a teammate that he's had. He's been in gyms all over the world. Not one person has ever said the words, and I do mean ever. Go ahead and Google it. They've never said, wow, Francis outworked everybody today. Boy, that work ethic of Francis Ngannou, wow. Boy, that drive of Francis. Boy, the dedication of Francis. Boy, this guy's just got an iron will. He's 6'6" and 300 pounds natural. There isn't a person that is ingesting endogenous testosterone into their ass cheek that has a higher testosterone count than he has on a daily basis. And nobody believed in me. I did it all on my own. What are you talking about? This will actually, as a matter of fact, right, here you got the Globetrotters, Captain Francis Ngannou, taking on the 89 Lakers, Captain Tyson Fury. This will be the first time in Francis's career he fights somebody who weighs what he weighs at the weigh-in. There has never been a fight in Francis's entire career where he did not have a weight advantage, and a meaningful one. Demetrius Johnson, by example, never had a weight advantage on a single opponent. Anderson Silva never weighed in 20 pounds more than an opponent in his entire career. It's never happened. Francis Ngannou has never fought somebody his own size. Francis Ngannou won a heavyweight championship with a 31-pound weight advantage and had to go to the second round to do that. I'm not looking to be a dick about it. I'm not looking at it at all. But what kid teased Francis, which I got to constantly hear about, he was made fun of? You guys used to go to school? Did anybody tease the kid that was 6'6"? Did anybody in front of you when you were in school? Maybe it was an upperclassman. Maybe it was an underclassman. Did they tease the kid who was 300 pounds? Did anybody in your time on the school bus, on your time in the playground, in your time in school, tease a guy who was solid muscle? Then how much do you really believe the 6'6", 300-pound solid muscle, unbelieved and never given a chance Francis Ngannou really had to overcome?